Hello, hello. How are you? Feeling quite warm tonight. I don't know what's going on. I'm tired. I wasn't even sure I was going to do a live tonight, but I thought I should do one and share some new perspectives, ask a couple questions. Um, well, what I titled this one was Are You Happy? And what brings you happiness? Do you even know what that is anymore? This reality has this way of kind of miring us in problems, frustration, trauma, stories, past experience. I find I'm not happy all the time by any extent of the imagination, but the less and less I get mired up in current stories, news, societal conditioning, etc., I get happier and happier. I had a beautiful discussion. I had a massage, and it was with an awakened woman, and we had a really deep discussion on a bunch of stuff that mattered to us, and it was so beautiful, and it brought me this kind of flow state. It was relaxing because it was a massage, but just to recognize that somebody I haven't interacted with for almost 7 years and has been on their own journey came to a lot of the same conclusions I did. I thought I'd been lost for a long time, and I was kind of out there in my perspective, but other human beings are coming to the same conclusions. And the sharing of what our conclusions are and how it works and stuff like that brought like a happiness, a flow state to me where I just felt everything was all right, everything was exactly as it needed to be, and that me trying to fix or heal or solve or work things out was almost insanity. Trying to be on this awakening journey all the time, and kind of assessing my path and where have I ended up and what got me here and what definition that had, etc., has kind of jaded my ability to be happy, because from a societal condition perspective, it's almost impossible to achieve what society tells us to do. Get married, have children, buy a house, get a whole bunch of debt, buy toys, have a rental property, go on vacation 3 weeks a year. It's just a treadmill that never seems to end. And so I've spent my journey over the last 10 years, I guess, unwinding from having to have a job. It started with being my own boss and having my own company, and then more and more moving away. Some of it was torn out of my hands. I didn't have any control during the last 2 years of breaking down small businesses. So then I had to kind of step into a different role, allowing the universe to help provide for me and give me enough money to spend the time I needed to go deep and see what was underneath. And unwinding those things is great, and it frees your body and frees your spirit and frees you from that feeling like you gotta struggle and keep doing stuff and please your bosses and do the work and please your spouse and do your best for your kids, which was just layers and layers and layers of responsibility, obligation, expectations. And now, as kind of the universe is kind of wrenched out of my control, even having a house, even the place I live in, I feel kind of like overextended, but it's working out, and it gives me some safety and comfort, and it allows me to continue to go deeper and do my work. So what kind of things are blocking you from spending time with yourself, of getting clear on what your happiness factors are. To me, happiness comes from being in a flow state, not feeling like I have responsibility or expectations hanging on me. I can just relax and be myself and see what shows up. Happiness for me is doing what I want when I want, not feeling I have to please or meet a societal expectation of a boss or a job, or fitting in with government and structure that really doesn't serve me. If anything, it's serving them, and there's a mess and all that. But anyways, so starting to build community around me of people that have the same awareness, openness about the world, starting to feel confident in my personal ethics, beliefs, integrity, etc., that makes me stand deeply in continuing to build what I'm building or do what I'm doing and feeling relaxed in it. Even just simple things like when you're really, really tired with what's going on right now, waking up when it feels right and letting your body kind of normalize, spending half an hour in the morning kind of in that lucid dreaming state, kind of creating what you'd love to see in your life. That creates a happiness. It gets a little giddy excitement in me that starts to be the match that starts some new things. And for a long time, things like money, things like spare time, things like, well, holding and taking care of a house and mowing the lawn and cleaning the dishes and fixing what's broken, all those kind of things just pulled me away from focus on being present, being. How does it feel in your body? For me, it's more and more relaxation, less and less myofascial kind of tightness or hunching. When I had my massage today, the person said that I had a little bit of a scoliosis in my back, and I can feel there's a trauma that's still in there that's kind of making me try to twist myself up to be small so that I don't have to be seen or whatever, which takes me away from being happy. Happy to me isn't like the giggles, and it can be a result of happening or laughing or whatever, but it's a lightness. It's a not having to prove, not having to shine, not having to whatever, and doing it from it feeling good for you, not because of an obligation or you want to get ratings or you want to be liked on Facebook or whatever, but it's just like I have stuff in me that needs to shine and it needs to be stated, and whether or not people like it or it triggers them or whatever, eventually as I've gone further and further, I less and less care because it's my truth. And everybody's got a choice. They can view my truth and say, oh, that aligns with me really well, or that doesn't align with me, I'm going to go somewhere else. But all I know is I found a path to something that a lot of people want. They like my smile. They like the way my eyes are bright. They like the way that I talk and share this stuff. So they're kind of following from the sidelines, and it's okay. But I don't want to do it because I want people to like me or follow me anymore. I want to do it because it's a lot of work to get here, and I'd love more and more people to get here, have less and less struggle, to feel safe, to make the changes in their life that they need to get new awareness. And once they have the awareness and they start playing with that awareness, this happiness starts to flow forth. And just I call it like a fountain, like imagine a fountain and you got a whole bunch of like sandstone or whatever that's like caked you in, and it's kind of locked you in, but the fountain starts to go and it pours out through the sandstone, and little grains of sandstone and sand just start falling away, and you build all of a sudden the dome opens at the top, and then the water's flowing off the side, and then there's like this whole beautiful beach that's forming out of this rock that used to be sandstone, but it's eroding away, and then eventually my head is showing, and then eventually my body's showing, and eventually all of me is showing, and then there's this beautiful beach around me, but now I'm not caked in expectation or pleasing or all these things. That's what I see is kind of happiness. It's like a spring that comes forth from us being free, of loving ourselves. And then mad thoughts come in, new ideas, new possibilities. The universe brings you things that shows you you're different and things are better. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow. Then it's kind of like exciting because possibility is there and you're not sure what changed or how it's different, but you know something's different. And then you explore that. You test the universe outside and say, oh, okay, well, new things are happening. Okay, what did I do different? Before I was trying to control myself and all tight. Now I'm just like being the best person I can, no matter how hard this is. And magic happens. So what in your reality is blocking you from happiness? What in your reality is a chore? What in your reality is the thing that you have to satisfy somebody else every day? Those are things to start looking at. And those are sometimes the very cage that we're stuck in. And when we're on that treadmill and we have no time for ourselves, we don't get a chance to look inside. We just know that we ran out of hours today and I have to go to bed, or I look at that when I get a few minutes, and then it just keeps getting further and further away when really we need to start focusing more on ourselves. A lot of people are being put in situations where they're getting laid off with jobs, or they're being forced to do something they don't want, so they're having to make a choice so they can finally move forward. And then they go on these like sabbaticals and they explore the world, they explore themselves, and then these people start growing and changing because now all of a sudden they're not part of a system that wasn't serving them. They're feeding themselves, they're making choices that allow expansion and new awareness. So when was the last time you were happy? Ask yourself that. Was I really happy? Did I just giggle, or did I spend a weekend, or did I go on vacation and it made me feel really good, but then I had to work another 8 or 10 or 12 months to be able to pay for that and start the next one? That's not happiness. That's it's like a carrot and a stick kind of scenario in my mind. I did that for a long time. But those things are getting so expensive. The inflation is going up. The prices of things are going up. It doesn't make us happy. It makes us feel crushed and smaller. So happiness is growing. What's blocking your happiness? Is there a person in your life that just shits on you all the time and makes you feel bad? Those are people you need to focus on. Those are experiences that aren't serving you. And if they continue in your life, they're like a storm cloud that sits over you, or maybe it's a parent, or your partner is just having a bad mood and always angry or addicted to something or whatever, and they're just raining on the parade and stealing energy so that you don't go forward. Sometimes that's the thing that we need to look at or make a change in. And it doesn't feel good. The feelings in the body, if you're feeling constricted and tight, you're not probably feeling expanded and happy, and it becomes really hard to crack a smile. Hi, I'm happy. How hard it is to lift up those corners of your mouth and look in your eyes and see the brightness, or do you just you're kind of I used to do it all the time, but just kind of these put up the corners of your lips and I'm happy, I promise. Well, it's not true because the world's not serving you and things aren't flowing and your abundance isn't there. So you need some of those things to feel happy. And I'm not saying money. I'm saying, okay, well, if you feel safe, that you have food and a house over your head or a roof over your head, and that makes you feel good, then that's a happiness. It creates a happiness. Now all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is flowing and I don't have to struggle for it. So the finding of happiness is starting to make choices for you. And when we start to change our personal reality by changing maybe the people that are in it, the circumstances that are in it, how we allow ourselves to divert from the societal norms to maybe feel better, that changes our personal reality. It changes inside here. It doesn't change outside of us, it changes inside here. But from that place, you get a confidence, you get a feeling of well-being, of safety, of whatever that comes from you. It's not from the job, it's not from the people, it's not from all this kind of stuff. It comes from you. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I don't have to satisfy and please all these people to be happy. I can be happy right now because I have all the gifts, all the wealth that I need. And I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about personal beliefs and how you feel about life. And some of that most ease and grace was when my house got taken from me. I had no choice about it. But all of a sudden, all these bills and all these obligations and insurance and where to fit everything and vacuuming all the time and cleaning and mowing the lawn, all these things just disappeared away. And it felt really great and free. And maybe you love some of those things, and that's part of your personal time or whatever. But as you have less and less obligations, more and more freedom and ability to choose what you do with your time and how you can spend time maybe with your kids or your spouse or your family or whatever. And that's happiness as well. So take a look inside, just see the things that kind of get in the way of your happiness, maybe slow you down from happiness, or people that are just like holding on for dear life that are scared you're going to get happy and they're not gonna, and they're just trying to shit on you a little bit once in a while to keep you calm down so that you can kind of commiserate with them. So just start looking, do an inventory, write it down on a piece of paper, and start to feel, will those things change your state? Will it free you? Will it make you feel safe? Will it give you that comfort and that expansion? And if they are, then you got to start making a little bit of choices that way. It took a long time for me, but once the momentum started, the universe started kind of speeding it up for me and showed me that a lot of the things in 3D that we feel are safety or wealth or status or power really are just hollow. And then all of a sudden you find this pool of happiness, this pool of gold, and just being yourself and being free and laughing and playing like a child again. So take a look. If you want to share, put something in the right below us. If you don't want to share, that's fine too. But we need to start discussing what's making us happy and what's not making us happy, what that state of happiness is, so that people can start to find it. And amazing things will happen there. So I love you all. I thank you for listening. You have a great night. And I hope you find the happiness. And if you're stuck or whatever, like I said, put a note down there or a personal message and we'll talk. Because sometimes we don't even know where we're stuck. So I have some insight to it. I'm not an expert in all means, but beautiful discussion. I find sometimes is the very thing that I need sometimes to break through. So have a great day. Sleep well. Thank you.